Okay, we have a lot of news when it comes to the upcoming season and whether it's going to go ahead and what it might look like. So let's dive straight in. I'm wearing the Carolina Hurricanes warning flag jersey because, unfortunately, Alberta influencers don't exist. And I wanted to have an ominous flag, an ominous jersey. And this is the closest we've got to like a natural disaster. I know it's a stretch. You don't need to tell me that in the comments. I understand. I'm trying my best. Alberta influencers, that's pretty good. I must admit, that's pretty good. So yeah, so thanks to Greg Grushinsky and Emily Kaplan over at ESPN, and the link for the full article down below. And some other writers have written very similar articles since that article came out with almost the same information on it. It's weird how those articles seem to pop up all of a sudden, isn't it? We've got a fair bit of news in regards to what the next season might look like and, you know, a few other things. And the reason why I want to make a video on it is I've noticed, and this is the other thing that I noticed with journalism, is that people like take certain quotes and then say, will not, and really hamper that, and then you read the original article, it's like, oh, that's not what they're saying at all. It's still very much treading water. That's where it's at right now. The NHL owners definitely want butts and seats. They definitely want fans to be able to go. And whether that can happen at the start is very unlikely. However, they wanted that to happen at the end. And I think the end is towards the end of the regular season and then going into playoffs. Now, we do have some set dates that they've got in mind right now. This is all can change. 1000% can change. But they're looking at a minimum of a 48-game season at this point. So there's a lot of journalism places that have picked up that the league will not go lower than 48 games. They said they will not at this point in time. So they will definitely will if they need to. But right now they want 48 as a minimum. Starting, right now they're not starting in January. They're not starting Jan 1. There's no way that's happening. Like it's just not feasible. So I think the best case scenario is starting in February, and that's like best case. That's everything goes this league's way. But they want the season to be done before the Summer Olympics start on July the 23rd. Now, whether those go ahead is another whole thing. But I actually do think that they will be able to. Seeing what other leagues done in the bubbles, I actually do think that will go ahead. So that gives them a unique position that they need to do a whole season between February and July 23rd. So it's not a lot of time for anything to go wrong, and it doesn't give much leeway. Now, they can always put pause on it and then, take a 2-week break during the Olympics and then start playoffs afterwards. I did think of that, if things do take long to get started or it, kicks off again COVID-wise. Why do I say again? Like, it's been horrendously bad in America this entire time. Don't at me in the comments if you're there. You know it's bad. Like, you know it's not good there. Like, it's terrible. And then Canada's like, there's certain... the OHL's starting without hits. That's where we're at with that. Like, they're playing with no hitting. Is that what the NHL's gonna do? No hitting? Could you imagine? Oh, God. We'll see more John Scott videos about the sissification of the game. I love John Scott, but come on. I'll give it to you. If everything's back COVID, if everything's fine COVID-wise and they're still not hitting in the O, I'll 100% back down on that John Scott tweet. When he squats, he really should call himself John Squat. So, yeah. So there's not a lot of time to get things wrong. And obviously, fan interaction will be at a complete zero, even if there will be fans at the stands to get money. And they will want fans at playoffs, definitely at playoffs. I think they'll want 50% capacity at playoffs if they can get it. I don't think a cure is coming out between now and then. We're in November now, and I know everyone has an eye towards, and this is going to be a bit personal between you and I. Everyone that I know, like within my workplace, my friends, really has an eye that like, oh, can you believe it? 2020 is almost over and it's 2021. I really think that you need to watch out for people's depression come February 2021, when the realization of, oh, just because the calendar hit, like we're still here. We're still in this set. And I really think February is going to hit some people hard, mentally. So yeah, maybe keep an eye on your friends around that time, because I really do think that's going to be some people are going to go to some dark places. And I know this video is not about that. It's just a thought, just a little throw in for you. But yeah, I do think that people really, really have a mindset that's like, oh, 2021 is just going to be the best me ever, and it's just going to be filled with New Year's resolutions of everything that everyone missed out this year, and then we still won't be able to do anything. America had 70,000 COVID cases yesterday alone. Are we really getting fans in buildings? Is that the discussion that we're having? Is that possible? I mean, it's not under control there, and there's movement. Like, there's movement between states. It's not under control, and I know there's really bad areas where it's kicked off, but it is super not under control. So I don't see how fans go into arena safely. I don't see it happening. I mean, I think they'll try. I don't think it's ethical. A few owners said that they don't want the season to go ahead. More for financial reasons than like, hey, maybe let's not have just a pastry dish of COVID in our arena. So we'll see. We'll see. If you've got it under control, it definitely works. Outside of the one state that really kicked off here for our second wave, we've been having fans at stadiums since I've been to a game here for cricket. And yeah, it's great. But like, you need to be at like no community transmission for that to happen. Like, I think that's the thing, is that like people see other places doing this and then they're like, oh yeah, we can do it. And then you're Europe again and you're in lockdown. Like, it's just, you can't rush this or else you really are in lockdown again. And even then, like, all it takes is like one super spreader and then it's like, yeah, great, we're back to square one. So at the very least, you're going to have to minimize how much these guys travel. I do think airports is it's not the greatest places to be as well, with planes and frequent travel. We heard a lot of reports that they're going to bring the AHL teams along with them to mitigate travel as well. And obviously keep them playing games as well. So obviously, they can kind of share the costs and head there once and play a lot of games in one arena. Play all their games pretty much that they're going to play there. So if you go to Buffalo, and you're versing them twice at home, you're playing both of those games, and your AHL team's doing the exact same, which I think is a great idea of getting around it. But yeah, it's definitely going to be this hybrid kind of bubble division sort of thing. I don't know how that's going to work with the whole standings. It's going to be super interesting with that. But yeah, I get uncomfortable when they're like, we just want fans and seats. And I get it from a financial standpoint. That is totally correct. Like, yeah, this league probably can't run a season without getting fans in stands. And that's when we start to have those difficult conversations, because I just can't see a steady stream of getting fans to an arena. And I know, like, I really don't think a mass cure will be out for everyone by June. I think that's too much of just just think of that as a logistics thing, that once one of these are finally approved, to get it all out to everyone. And then we won't touch on the American health system, because I guarantee you it will not be as easy as it sounds. Just look for the wealthy to get that thing first. Just look for that. Yeah, it's not going to be ideal. But yeah, I just can't see how you're going to get this going. And with the way it's at least reported now, and there's talk of like, we can get fans and seats now. Like, the Dallas Cowboys had 25% in an open air arena, and it's like, it probably shouldn't have. It should have. What's Dallas's COVID number? Let's take a look. What's Texas's COVID numbers just for? Oh, good, they just didn't report it. Far out. Yeah, it was the Cowboys had 25% in their arena. They had 4,000 cases yesterday by the numbers, and there's no way the numbers are correct in America. Like, I'm sorry, they are 1,000% wrong. Especially if you look at like the deaths in Florida, and then all of a sudden like pneumonia deaths are up like 900%. Funny how that happens. So there's no way it's that, but like, yeah, like they have. What are we talking about that we're putting people in arenas? Like, what? Oh man, it's just a completely different mindset over there, isn't it? It really is. I just can't see how. I can't see. There'll be a season next year. I just think that we might need to have difficult conversations when it comes to, well, are you going to wear a loss, or are we just not going to have a season? Because I don't think you're going to have steady fans at arenas. And then you've also got, like, there's a president change that could happen. I mean, I don't think so, but there's the president change that could happen midway through, and in which case there will be more lockdowns and there will be more of these things, and that's going to make things even more complicated. Also, the more people go to arenas because shit is out of control, 4,000 cases a day is nothing to sneeze at, and some bad terminology, but it's nothing to just look sideways at. And then you got people going to arenas. It's just going to spread more. Like that's the way it works. It just keeps going. It's really not good. Like it's really and then eventually you need to lock it down. And then this is what I'm saying. Like until there's a cure or until this is actually under control in America, and 70,000 cases a day is not under control, and they're like, this is our third spike. I would just say this is just. It's been the same thing in America. Like a few places locked down for 2 weeks and went, job done, boys. Let's get at it. Let's go to the pub. I mean, you got to say pub. If you're saying pub, you got to say it in an English accent, right? It's got to be done. If teams are counting that they're going to get constant stream of 25% at arenas or 10% at arenas, they're insane. They're insane because this thing just keeps changing. You just need to be able to pivot. The whole AFL, which is our football league, similar to the NFL when it comes to crowds, the grand final usually is 101,000 people in it. Like it's just, there's always, tens of thousands of people going to these games. They moved every single team from one state, which is like half the league plays in one state. And they moved them all to Brisbane, and which is crazy. It's like moving, I don't know, every team in the metro area, the metro New York area to, Florida. It's just moving them all there. And fans were allowed to go to those games because Brisbane had it under control. But you need to be able to pivot, and this is the whole thing. They're not going to be... You can't do that in this league. Like, you just can't be like, well, we can't have home games now at our arena. So, yeah, really going to be interesting. I know they're wanting to get this season done and dusted as quickly as possible because next year they do want a full 82-game season. It's when the new TV contract kicks in, so obviously more games on TV means they're not gonna... I'm sure there's built-in things that they need to have X, Y, Z. So they want to make sure they get the full revenue amount from that. And the Kraken joined the league as well, so obviously they want to make sure they can get the most out of that. So I think a lot of this season is looking towards that. That's the real one of this can't... everything needs to be great when that season kicks off. But with this one, I think they've got to... I honestly think they're in fairyland if they think that fans are going to... isn't Toronto... I don't think you could go in Toronto right now, or Quebec, or Montreal, sorry. I don't think you could go to arenas. Anyway, I don't get it. Anyway, so that's where everything's at right now. None of the PA and the NHL still haven't met yet, but they're obviously wanting to get all the details before that happens, so don't read too much into that. I read a few stories this morning. It's like, well, they haven't met yet. This is, labor tensions. No, well, there's no point, going there and be like, so, we don't know what to do yet. Great meeting. January 1 for me is out. To be able to get training camp and start we're in November now, I just don't think that's possible. I honestly don't think it's possible. I don't know how many people went back home as well, back to Finland, Sweden and Europe. I know some of them did. I know some of the players did. And and some of these places are in lockdown again. So what happens then? It's just, there's so many things up in the air right now. The state of the world is very similar to what it was like when the NHL paused the first time. Europe's in lockdown again. It's not just Italy, England's locking down for a month, if not more. The whole of England. And, a bunch of Sweden, I think, as well, because they've given up on herd immunity. A bunch of those places. And we're we can get... No, you can't. I'm sorry, you just can't. Oh, boy. I really want this season to work out. I really want it to go ahead. Of course, you know how much I love hockey if you are a fan here. I know this is a bit doom and gloom, but I just read a lot of articles this morning that was just this is going to happen. This is going to do this. And I'm just when you're a kid in kindergarten and you had that little device that had all the shapes and you could fit them through the holes. Right now I've got a square and I'm trying to fit it into a triangle and I'm like, why is this not working? Why is this not working? Maybe if I jam it right in there and break the toy, you might be able to fit it. That's when I read some of this stuff, I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean people are going? Like, it's still out of control. I know I've been back and forth with this. But yes, it looks like right now, 48 game season, and wanting to get done before the Olympics. I don't think that's possible. I do think this season does happen, by the way. I think by hook or by crook, they find a way. But I just think have a massive playoff tournament. Go to Lake Louise. Have a massive playoff tournament. I think it'll be fun. That'll be fun. The legitimacy of the cup. Yeah, but I don't know, it's still, gotta win it, right? Like, it's still difficult. The other thing is, I did have a few questions about a month ago, and I don't know if obviously these people will be watching this video, of whether players are getting paid. I think just over 8% of their salary this year just got paid out at the end of last month, so end of October. So, yeah, and all the signing bonuses hit. I think it was like $200 million in signing bonuses got paid out, or $300 million. July 1. I think all of that went to Tavares, actually. Oh, that'd be a good paycheck. That would be a good paycheck. Even after tax, you'd be like... Anyway, guys, if you did like this video, hit the like button. Otherwise, hit subscribe down below. We're at 291 today. So, yeah. So, really do help out. You know, I want to hit 300. Come on. Help me. Help me out. And comment down below. What do you think the season's going to look like? Do you think we have a season? Would you, if you are in America or Canada, I'm curious, would you go? Yeah. Would you go to a game? You say it's 25% and there's like, sanitizer dispensers and you have to wear a mask. Would you go? I would if everything wasn't bad. Like, I'm going to the cricket here in a couple of weeks to go to Australia versus India. But we haven't had community transmission in 6 months. Humble brag. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. No affiliation to COVID and Carolina. It's just, yeah, this is the most, like, warning thing that I've got. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you. Bye.